At the end of the day, it's all about freedom.
I believe it was Harry Reid who speculated that Mitt Romney didn't pay any taxes before his tax returns came out. And then I think it came out that he paid 14, 15%, something like that. I don't have the numbers offhand, but it's something in that ballpark. And this was a big deal. Now, people on the left were like, this is outrageous. He's paying this low rate. He got a lot of criticism in the media for it. And they'd say, well, this guy makes a ton of money and he pays this low rate. This isn't fair. And I remember, I know you guys who listen to the show heard me talk about this, but when Bernie Sanders' taxes came out, I thought and still thought this would be a pretty big blow to the image of Bernie Sanders, to all those people who had been ripping Mitt Romney for paying what was a higher percentage than Bernie Sanders. And there was I learned a little something from it, because there's a real disconnect between me and Bernie Sanders fans, because none of them, I've never gotten as much as a concession of like, hey, you kind of have a point there, from anyone on the Bernie Sanders side on this issue. In fact, they think it's ridiculous, as you might see if you look through some of my Facebook comments as I posted about this, because I said something about, like, imagine what the outrage would be if Trump was paying Bernie Sanders rates, which was 13.5%. Imagine he was paying that. It'd be a lot less money going in. And you don't even need it. Come on, man. Anyone who's being honest here would say, yes, if it came out that Trump paid Bernie Sanders rates, that would be a big scandal. He only paid 30 cents. Look, I was shocked that Trump paid this much. Well, what had come out was before, at least what they were saying, was that he had this carry forward deduction where he could pay zero for a lot of years. The guy's a real estate development who donates to every politician. I just assume the guy doesn't pay a lot of taxes, because that's usually the case there. But it turns out this one year, at least in 2005, he paid a shit ton. I think, okay, actually, I'll come back and make this point later, but it was interesting to me that when Bernie Sanders, so it came out on Bernie Sanders' taxes, and Bernie Sanders made, I forget exactly what his salary was, but it was six figures. It didn't quite put him in the top 1%, but it certainly put him in like the top 2 or 3%, It's a little bit of an artificial line that you drew with one, right? When he always says one. So, I'm just saying he's right up there. He's right underneath the top one. Of course, if you looked at top 1% of the world, whew, yeah, way, way up there, but okay. So he's like in the top 3%. He pays 13.5% income tax. And then I made the point, that I said he pays like 13% income tax and very little in charity. And then people are like, oh, he gives like 4% of his income in charity. I said, okay, since when in Bernie Sanders' world is 4% a huge chunk of your income? Huh? Okay, fine. Let me forgive that. So imagine a millionaire or a billionaire told Bernie Sanders, oh, I pay 13% tax, but I throw another 4% in. So don't even worry about raising my taxes. I think Bernie Sanders would want a little bit higher than that. In fact, Bernie Sanders is on record saying that it should be over 50%. The lifestyle that he lives, the excess that he has, would have been unthinkable. Still is unthinkable in most parts of the world, and would have been unthinkable just a few generations ago. Why doesn't he have to tighten his belt? I don't get that one. And I don't get how, if you look at things in the Bernie Sanders world, that you're not incredibly thankful to a guy like Trump. Look, from my perspective, right, this is how I look at things. And this is kind of what I was saying with that tweet. Of course, I'm not blaming Trump for paying taxes. Lots of people, we all pay taxes, or at least lots of us do. But Donald Trump, it's kind of this crazy thing where they're trying to find all of these scandals on Trump, right? Like there were all these things like, oh, maybe he went to Trump U was defrauding people, or maybe, he declared bankruptcy, or he didn't come through on this contract. Remember, was that he's not paying up on his contracts, and all these things that could have been going on, and everybody's looking for a shady thing he may have done. And to think, in 2005, Donald Trump, this is like, at the height of us slaughtering people in the war in Iraq. that Donald Trump just sent in a big check to this organization and how much evil was done with that money. And then it's just, and that's not a scandal. The scandal would have been if he had held on to the money. The scandal would have been if he had not sent in the money to this criminal organization. It is weird. It's a weird world that we live in.